Transition Awareness Breathing. Feeling grounded for both children and parents is essential for healthy living and learning. Join Eartha Powell on this series for tips and tools for creating a harmonious environment for learning. Transition Awareness Breathing will help you and your child find an individualized path to tackle change, promote lifelong learning, and discover new approaches to calmness.
Oh, that's the third bell. Better get to class. Welcome to Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast. This is Eartha. Wow. Thank you for coming back. And today is our second day in Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast tab in the class. We're going to cover our agenda today. We're going to talk about the benefits of mindful practice. Then we're going to talk about our homework we did last time. If you didn't do your homework, you have a few minutes and you can get caught up. And finally, we're going to talk about the importance of certain postures when we do our mindfulness breathing. But first, I would like to thank Web Talk Radio for giving me a platform to bring Transition Awareness Breathing podcasts to you. I would also like to thank Mary Lou and Sam for making Transition Awareness Breathing podcasts available wherever you are at. Let's get started. Hey, so what do you think about those 3 bells at the beginning of the podcast? Did it bring back memories? Well, I had to think of something. But anyway, let's go over the homework. How did you do? Your homework was to practice a positive song. Did you find a positive song? Okay. And as promised, I'm going to share the positive song that I use when I start my classes with my students. But before I do, the other part of your homework was to mindfully eat, practice mindfully eating. How did that go? Did you remember to do mindful eating? Well, there we have it. We had so much to do. And we'll get a chance to practice more mindfulness and awareness activities. And so you'll get a few more, I don't want to call them homework, but let's call them practices. I want to encourage you to write these things down. And I really would like for you to get my book that would help you, because there's different spaces in the book where you can journal and write down your assignments. It's available on Amazon.com and it's called Tab Mindfulness, Awareness, and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. And you'll see it says Transition Awareness Breathing, full of positive discoveries. So your homework is to try to have your copy of the book by next time. And then when we review our sessions, you can write your practice sessions down. Now, why is it important? Is it just because I want you to buy my book? Well, okay, yeah. But the best thing about it, because you can use any kind of a journaling book, right? But the reason why I want you to use the book that I made, the Tab Mindfulness, Awareness, and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World, is because I made it to follow our classes and you can see your progress. The one thing about mindfulness, it's great. Mindfulness and awareness practice helps support and decrease stress reduction. It supports happiness. It increases your positive self-awareness so you feel happy. It helps emotional regulation. It helps increase kindness. And it also improves attention. But the benefits of transition awareness breathing and any mindfulness awareness relaxation program comes only if you practice. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, form, or fashion that you practice 45 minutes a day, 2 times a day, 3 times a day. I mean, I don't know if you have time to do that. If you do, that's so great. But if you don't, it's okay. Try to find time. Now is the best time to find the time because it's at the beginning of the school year and we're all getting accustomed to our new schedules. So for yourself, for your family, for your children, block off some time. Sometime, maybe it's 15 minutes. Maybe it's 5 minutes. Maybe it's during the time that, you listen to the podcast, and then maybe you take a few minutes to try to practice on your own. Whatever works for you is good. So I just wanted to start off reminding you of that and encouraging you that the more you practice, the better you will get at practicing these different mindfulness skills, and also you'll see the benefits of the mindfulness practice through stress reduction, emotional regulation, increased self-confidence and happiness and attention. I had a dental appointment. I just share just a story just to prove that point. I didn't have that in my script, but I'm going to share it with you if you don't mind. I had a dental appointment a few weeks ago, and I am a person that the dentist is not my favorite place to go, but I keep my dental appointments, and I may have shared this with you before. Well, they usually, take my blood pressure, and before I started practicing mindfulness, sometimes my blood pressure would be a little bit high, and they would leave the room, turn the lights off, come back, and my blood pressure would be just the same or higher. It's not something that turning the lights off is going to do it for me. It's being at the dentist is what's triggering it. But anyway, but this time when I went to my dentist appointment, I said, my goal, I do not want to be here any longer than I need to be. So I did my mindfulness breathing, and while they were doing the blood pressure, and it works. That's all I can say, because the blood pressure was good, and they proceeded to, do my regular checkup. So I just want to share that with you to let you know that it really does work. So let's get started. Let's talk about the positive song. So why is it important? As I mentioned last time, we want to change our environment to be positive. Yes, we can change it in the world of so much that's going on. In the few minutes in your time of doing your mindfulness practice, you can have a very positive experience. When I work with the children at school, they look so forward. And, sometimes I have my bags and I'm rushing into class, setting up, and a couple of times I forgot to start off with a song, and they promptly reminded me, Miss Artha, what about our song? I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, let's do our song. This song is called I Can Be, and it is by Yaakov Shwekey. It is such a absolute, my favorite positive song. And I just would like to share with you how it goes. And maybe you can get an idea of what you should look for when you're getting a positive song. And it'll show you why I like the song so much. Okay, so this is how it goes. Na 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 oh na 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 oh I am a child and the road ahead is full of possibilities, laughter and smiles. When I'm with you I'm soaring high and free. When you're in my world, I believe in me. I look into your eyes and see that I can be stronger, I can be braver, I can be anything I want to be. Oh, anything I want to be. End of favorite song exercise. So this song continues to just build and on what you can be. You can be a hero. You have the power, the courage, and it is just full of positive words. And it goes on and says, everything that I need is inside of me. But sometimes there are things that's blocking these channels that keeps us from thinking so positively about ourselves. And so changing and giving yourself a positive start really helps decrease some of the stress and increases some of the positiveness. So try it. Find a positive song. Look up Yaakov, Yaakov is his first name, and last name is Shwekey, and check out the full song. If you like this, if you like that song. So, another thing we talked about was mindful eating. How did that go for you? We're going to take that a little bit farther. When we're practicing mindfulness eating, you're smelling your food or your fruit, you're checking out the texture, shaking it, and you're examining everything about that piece of fruit before you put it in your mouth. And so you are increasing your ability to kind of like hold off on self-satisfaction, and you're appreciating the color, the texture. And so when you put your food, your fruit, whatever it is into your mouth, your mind just savors the whole experience. Continue to practice your mindful eating. And the next step is mindfully sitting. And that's what we're going to spend a little time on right now. Wherever you decide that you want to have your mindfulness place, choose a spot, some place where you feel comfortable. You can sit, you can stand, whatever is comfortable for you is the most important. If you're sitting, you want to sit, with your bottom pretty secure in the chair, feet on the floor. If you are standing, you want to you want to be comfortable. Have your comfortable shoes on. It's nice if you can feel the ground, the texture, because in future classes you'll find out when we do mindful walking why that's so important. Your posture should be, kind of sitting up, because that you don't have any uncomfortable pressure points. So you want to find a special place where you can lay down comfortably. Now you're in your special spot. You're in your mindfulness position. Let's do like a like an assessment. Think about, you want to get yourself in the frame of mind. How is your stress level? You can kind of begin that, on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 meaning little to no stress, and 10 meaning off the wall. What was your stress level like? Or what is your stress level like as you're kind of bringing your mind into awareness? Because when you're practicing your mindfulness, you want to be there. You want to not be thinking about, okay, I'm sitting in this place and I'm going to do this for 5 minutes, set a time, and when it's over, I got to that's, you're sitting down, but you're not there. So we need for you to be there. So you want to focus your attention on what's going on with you. So how is your attention? Gauge that on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you on a scale of 1, you are here, you are ready, or are you a 10? Kind of, all right, I'm kind of like halfway here. Let's kind of like let's hurry and get this over with. Let your focus be here. Or are you kind of neutral? Sometimes you have to kind of get warmed up. How is your some of these things we'll talk about, but how is your compassion, your self-compassion to yourself? Are you taking care of yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10. 1, I haven't thought about taking care of myself. And 10, like I'm doing pretty well. I take time out for myself. So where are you? So these kind of things, you could start off after you get in your special position and you're taking time. So your homework for this session is to find your special place. Practice your mindful eating when you're in your mindful position. So those who chose to lay down, you might want to make sure you're a little bit elevated, so you can be comfortable eating your raisin or fruit. And then practice, remember, looking at the fruit, feeling the fruit, looking at the wrinkles, squishing the fruit, listening to it, smelling it before you putting it in your mouth. Turn it all the way around while you're sitting in your mindfulness position. It's going to make a difference. Also, think of a positive song. Get your positive song and maybe play that before you start. When you're finished with your 5 minutes or 15 minutes, I don't want you to feel like you got to sit there for 45 minutes, but you have to dedicate a point of time. And then write down your experiences. In your journal, write down how you felt before your practice, and then write down how you felt after your practice. So for instance, with the mindful eating, how did you feel before you did the mindful eating? And what changes did you see after you did the mindfulness eating in your mindfulness position? Do that a couple of times this week. Write it in your journal. And I look forward to talking to you again as we go on talking about TAB in the virtual class. Thank you for coming. Have a great day.
Be sure and pick up a copy of Eartha's new book, TAB Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's not just an ordinary coloring book. It features 23 illustrations to stimulate thought, relaxation, and creativity for anyone between the ages of 4 and 94. Increase your positive self-talk energy. Unlock new creative paths. Transform your time once or twice a week to create beautiful art while strengthening confidence, building positive self-talk, and sensitize self-awareness. TAB Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's available now at Amazon.com.